Welcome back to the Mountain Morning Show. I'm very happy to have Sean Guthrie here from USI All-Purpose Windows and Doors. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thanks, Joe.
It's great to have you here.
It's good to be back.
Yeah, it's neat. We're getting into summer and it's so hot. And I was thinking about this in my house the other day. I'm like, you know what? My windows aren't insulating that heat at all. I mean, we're just getting pounded.
Yeah, you are. And you mentioned that you have a southern exposure too, and that's and a west, and that's usually your hottest sides of the house. And
oh boy, I'll say.
If you change up your glazing or change up your windows, you can make it a lot more efficient and a lot more comfortable too for your home.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, it's comfort aside from the rest of it. Saving money by keeping your house efficient is a huge part of why switching out windows is a good plan. The technology has just come so far in just the last 10 years.
Correct. Yeah. If you look at, we talked about last time low E glass, and now we're at probably a third generation of low E glass.
Right.
And not only does it work during the summertime and it helps reduce your air conditioning bills, but in the wintertime it takes that radiant heat from the inside of your home and bounces it back to the interior.
Right, so keeps it warm too.
Yeah, so it's not going out, it's not transferring through the frame, it's not transferring through the glass like your windows probably are right now with the aluminum.
Yeah, I'll say for sure. And the other thing I've noticed when I've been out and about is people's homes with the vinyl. And we're now starting to, they've been installed long enough that we're starting to see them fail and figure out the real, I mean, there was such a big craze for a while. Get vinyl windows, and now all of a sudden, you know, we're 10, 15 years out from when most of those were installed, and that's their lifespan, and they're starting to shrink and do weird things and melt. I've seen melted ones.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, you're seeing all sorts of things, and what's really interesting, you know, down in the valley, it was a white vinyl market, right?
I'll say.
And you're starting to see some of that white vinyl turn yellow.
Yeah.
And it's actually changing. Like you mentioned, those windows are shrinking, so they're contracting and expanding, and so it's pulling that caulking from the exterior away from the house, and so now it becomes a maintenance issue. The frames are yellowing. Time to replace them.
Yeah, I've even seen, like you said, the caulk running down the side of the house. I'm like, wow. It's when you talk about the kind of heat that we have here in this desert of Utah. Yeah, quality and certainly lifespan becomes a real issue.
Correct. We talked about that too, as far as what happens in this environment where, you know, today it was probably 72 down in the valley. This morning it'll be up to 100 plus today. Yeah. So that vinyl window is expanding and contracting at a higher rate. And we've got some items to show today that
I'm excited about this. This is a lot different. So this is fiberglass, right?
That's a fiberglass frame, and with a clad interior. So
yeah,
you can
I really like that.
Beautiful window.
This looks like what you'd expect to see in a very nice home.
Correct.
And that's something that you and I talked about a little bit too. In my travels, I've run into a lot of the, here in Park City even, really, for that matter. We've got a lot of homes that are in part of the registry. They're historic. They need to be taken care of in that manner. And so many times they haven't been. Right. Both inside and out. And at least, you know, this is a modern look on the outside. Which is nice.
There's certainly some houses that fit that, right? Contemporary look.
But look at that on the inside. That, to me, that speaks to an older, you know, a little more traditional look.
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah, and you can take that window. The great thing about this one happens to be an integrity product from Marvin, but it can be painted on the exterior because it is fiberglass.
Really? And
the nice thing about a composite window, and we have the Amsco Renaissance window here too, but the nice thing about a composite window, they can be painted, but that composite expands and contracts at the same rate a glass does, which is very minimal.
That makes more sense.
So you don't have the separation of the glass coming away from the spacer. You don't get that moisture coming up between the insulated glass because it's expanding at the same rate. Plus, it can be painted.
And see, we've seen that, you know, especially with the aluminum windows, that was a real issue with water getting in, and all of a sudden you can't see out of your window. Right. It's like a big foggy nightmare. Right. That's with those gaps you have to leave on stuff that expands and contracts at different rates. You have to do that, but when it doesn't, you don't have to worry about that anymore.
Right.
Nice exactly solid seal.
Yeah, and on this one too, let me show you a couple benefits of this if I can.
Absolutely.
So on the Renaissance one, you can see that it has the traditional look on the outside like we talked about. So it comes with a brick mold, comes with a slope sill. So in this particular one, it'll come with a double hung. It's a double hung, so both sashes
wow.
open. Back to that traditional look like what I grew up with.
Perfect for an older home.
Exactly, and then of course you've got the wood interior. But you can see through this, there is no way that the water can penetrate this composite material and get to the interior. And that's what also makes it a really low maintenance window. And then on the corners, you can see that it's also very traditional from a standpoint. It's not going to leak. It's not going to go through the joints, and real beefy across the sill section.
I really like this. This is a tremendous window. So these are available in all kinds of colors too, I'm assuming.
There's 6 standard colors on the Renaissance product. You can also get just a plain interior without the wood wrap, and you can paint the interior as well.
Wow. Oh, it's a beautiful window. I can imagine what these look like fully installed. It really takes that home back to what it looked like when it was first built.
Correct. The other thing too, which you don't see in a lot of wood-clad windows, it has a lifetime warranty. So both us at USI All Purpose will service it and take care of it if there's any breaks, or as far as the locking mechanisms or the glass failing. And then AMSCO, backs it up with their warranty on the glass and the materials and workmanship.
You know, the quality of locks and things like that have changed a lot too. It's worth talking about the security of homes. That's an important part of it too, isn't it? Yeah,
what has happened a few years ago, California had started with a forced entry requirement that the national builders accepted and agreed to. You know, we've all seen the sliding patio doors or the windows where we cut the dowels and
that's what we stick in there.
Yep, and that, we can open it maybe that far. But, that's not really safe. That doesn't give everybody a lot of confidence. But because of the forced entry requirements that are out there now, it takes something like 70 pounds of pressure before that lock will fail. And that's a lot of pressure from a standpoint of, that's pushing in and trying to push up. And that's not going to happen very easily.
That's awesome. Well, that's an improvement right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's especially important for people who up here in Park City have a second home. They're not here very often. You want to know that it's going to be protected. So now you're protecting it from weather and keeping it safe inside from burglaries and things like that.
Yep,
that's
absolutely.
awesome stuff. So how do we get in touch with USI and All-Purpose Windows and Doors?
Best way is give me a call. So on my number, my cell number, and that's a direct line, you can call me at 801-664-8823.
Okay.
And of course I have voicemail, and I'll call anybody right back if they leave a message, and we'll come out and take a look at it. We'll send our expert installers out. They determine what method of install works best.
Right.
And then we'll go from there and give you a proposal and show you how to replace your windows.
We talked about it last time, and it's important just to point out again that it's not as difficult as people think to replace your windows. It isn't going to be one of those situations where you have to start over with the inside of your, you're thinking about your window sills and all the things you're going to have to do. Oh my gosh, am I going to have to paint? Am I going to get my walls wrecked? No. It's amazing how good you guys are at tearing out the structure that's already there and then putting something in that has the accoutrements with it to refinish that inside and out. Correct.
Yeah, and the other thing that we do too, and not a lot of companies will do this, but at All Purpose on the outside, and especially in the stucco, because a lot of homes have stucco. Right. You're talking about the homes built in the 80s. We'll actually go back and we'll cut away that stucco and pull that old aluminum window out and then clean up that install spot with new wrap and new paper, new caulking, put the new window in, and then replace that stucco and do a stucco patch there.
Right.
Nobody else, not a lot of people will do that.
No, they just cut out what they need to stick the other one in.
Yep.
And you end up with kind of an ugly edge.
Exactly. And then, like you mentioned, on the inside, it's real clean. Our guys can determine what type of interior that a homeowner might want. They might want to do a wood return, say in pine. They might want to do a sheetrock return or keep their sheetrock return, and we can install windows that way pretty simple.
No, that's the way to do it, because like I said, when it's all done, you got a beautiful window.
Yep.
On the outside, you want to look good on the inside too, and that's what the folks at All Purpose Windows and Doors USI could do.
You bet.
Thanks so much. I appreciate you being here.
No problem.
We'll be back with more right here on the Mountain Morning Show. When we come back, we're switching gears. We're going from windows to fashion. That's coming up right after this.